Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today on Tundra Tactical, we're going to be talking about trying to find the right gun to buy. So stay tuned, thanks for watching, and let's start the show. Buying a new gun can be a challenging proposition for many of us due to the financial constraints or the people who control our bank accounts. Some of us are what you might consider financially destitute and just can't run out and purchase any firearm we choose whenever we feel like it. Others have spouses that don't understand that being tactical all the time is not a choice, and the purchase of a new firearm could mean the difference between freedom and enslavement. A spouse can often be the deciding factor between Knight's armament and Bear Creek Arsenal. Others have a huge problem spending money on anything awesome, and we sometimes can be our own worst enemy by thinking that Tapco is just as good as Magpul. I mean, they're both polymer, right? There is one method that is nearly foolproof to make sure you get the gun that you want with no compromises. Go to a gun store and ask the attendant to pull out every gun you know the nomenclature for and meticulously squeeze the trigger. You don't actually have to know what you're testing the trigger for, but you do see Garantham do it all the time, so it's probably important. Then ask the attendant to make some recommendations based on the 14 guns you've already seen because you still aren't sure. Repeat the trigger molestation with all of the round 2 guns as well. After all of this, either decide that you need to save more money to get the one you really want and just leave, or buy the cheapest gun you fondled that day. The latter affords you the opportunity to defend your purchase by saying that you compared it against literally dozens of other guns and it just felt to be the best to you. You don't know what that actually means, but you do know that you'll have the extra cash to splurge on that burrito bowl for lunch tomorrow. Another popular method to make sure you get the right handgun for you is to search for the one that you think just looks cool, and then watch hundreds of hours of YouTube reviews on it to validate your emotions towards the gun. No matter what the product, there is likely to be a handful of shill channels on YouTube that will validate your emotional connection to even the worst firearms available. The great thing about YouTube is that there is no barrier to entry, and there are a ton of people that will either A, say awesome things about mediocre products in the hopes that companies will continue to send them things, or B, show off every piece of kit they purchase in hopes that they'll hit the YouTube algorithm just right and start basking in all of that sweet, sweet ad revenue. Either way, you can't go wrong with this method. The great thing about watching a video of the gun that you're trying to convince yourself to buy is that if the video has any sort of criticism whatsoever, you can simply close it out. I wonder how many Keltec owners have justified their purchases by watching Nuttin' Fancy reviews. Now, if you've determined that a dude recording himself talk about his new gun in a garage with a cell phone isn't the way you want to justify your purchase, check out a review in a magazine. The great thing about magazines is that there is actually some barrier to entry to contribute through the written word in print. The extra great thing is that if you see your gun of choice featured in a magazine, there will be absolutely no bad things said about it. Print is a dying medium, and magazines will take money from literally anybody to create a positive advertising review of their product. The most legitimate writer in the industry will be hard-pressed to say a negative word about a gun in a magazine review. If the trigger feels like you're squeezing one of those rotten potatoes sitting at the bottom of your pantry, the writer will say it has a unique trigger that lends itself to a safe concealed carry. If you think YouTubers are hard to believe when they endorse a product, well, you should probably avoid anything written in a gun magazine for fear of detaching your eyeballs from the optic nerve during the intense eye-rolling sessions caused by superfluous bullshit. On a side note, does anybody else feel that it's ironic how superfluous the word superfluous is? One of the best methods will be the final option on our list today. Now, I am legally obligated to read this one because Eric wrote it. So as a gun store employee, I implore you to consider the context of our content. Seriously, consider it. This is probably the easiest method for consumers too, so it gets bonus points for encouraging laziness. Walk up to any gun store attendant and tell them all the things that you think are important and unique about you. Make sure you cover all the details like where you went to college, how you disagree with Bernie Sanders' platform but appreciate how genuine he seems, okay? What color tulips are in your flower bed, what time you usually eat dinner, how much your TV costs, why you finally ditched cable for a streaming service, your opinion on center axis relock, what brand of tires are on your Mazda, and how herbal remedies for weight loss is your retirement plan. You will either get a very blank stare from said attendant, or you'll get recommended whatever he or she gets the best reward for selling that month. Either way, decide that you want a High Point C9 based on Demolition Ranch's torture test, and grab an Uncle Mike's holster to go with it. So that about wraps up the video, guys. If you dislike this video, then you should check the first letter of every sentence I just read to you. Just kidding. That'd be a huge waste of time, wouldn't it? Or would it? If you liked the video, however, make sure to smash that thumbs up button and share it around with your friends. Consider subscribing to the channel and checking out our Patreon page to stay up to date on current and future content. And if you haven't done so already, head on over into the link in the description below to tpublic.com/user/Tundra Tactical to pick up one of the sweet new Tundra Tactical t-shirts. Thanks for watching, guys, and you can now find us on Instagram at Tundra Tactical MN.